In today's episode, we're going to talk about some retirement half-truths, half-statements. So I'm going to share with you what's missing when we hear some of these common statements about diversification, healthcare, and saving into your 401k.
Welcome to the Your Life, Your Money podcast with Scott Sierens, teaching you how to thrive in life, wealth, and retirement.
Welcome to another episode of The Retirement Show, all about your life, your money, and your retirement. I'm your host, Scott Sierens, and my goal is to help you thrive in life, wealth, and retirement. And today we're going to talk about just that, retirement, more from kind of I don't want to say a general level, but some statements that are out there. We'll call them half-truths, but maybe they're really just half-statements. Statements that if you were to follow them, you might be doing some good things, but you're not getting everything that you need. And what's an example of a half-truth or a half-statement? You know, a good example that I can think of is as my wife's driving to work, she always sees this sign. She comments about it. It says, you know, best margaritas in town. She's always like, well, I'm sure they're good. Maybe they're good. If I go there and I have it and it's good, well, that's great. But is it the really best margaritas in town? Was it voted on, or is that just a statement that they're making? And, you know, of course, you could try it out, and maybe it is a great margarita. Maybe for her, though, if she went to another place in town, right, they would have one that she likes better, be more fitting for her, whatever it might be. So hopefully you can see that there's some truth to what they're saying. Maybe for some people, they have the best margarita in town. For some people, maybe not. Maybe people think that another one is the best. And was it really voted on? What's another good one? I want to get your brains turning here a little bit. How about this? Somebody says, well, I have a ton of friends on Facebook. Well, maybe you have a ton of connections on Facebook, but are they actually all your friends? Or maybe some of them your friends, some of them are acquaintances, some of them are just people that you met. So hopefully you can kind of see here, there's statements, things that we say that have some truth to it, but maybe it's kind of just half the statement, half of what's going on. And so that's what I want to talk about today from a retirement standpoint. I'm going to go through 3 different half statements or half truths. So that way, as you hear these things, I want you to really think about your plan and what you might need to be doing in your plan beyond just what the statement says. So let's start with our first one. I'm sure you've heard this before. I mean, heck, I've said it before to clients, but you know, we're also looking at their total plan. So the first statement is diversification is key. Have you heard that before? Diversification is key. Well, yeah, diversification is really important. It certainly is, but it can mean a whole lot of different things. Plus, is diversification the key to your retirement plan? Is diversification the key to getting you through retirement? Is diversification the key to being a great investor? Is diversification the key to retirement income? So we could say diversification is key, but what is it really key to? And like I said, it's really important, but it's just a component of your overall retirement plan. And let me just kind of explain here too how diversification can mean so many different things when it comes to your retirement plan as well. So let's just talk about diversification for a second here. Imagine this. Imagine I was to loan you $2 million. Here's a loan, $2 million. But the one requirement is that you have to pay it back. And if you don't, you'll be in debt forever, big penalties. And again, we're just, making something up here, but you're getting $2 million. But the only thing that you can do with that $2 million is invest it. Now, you're kind of thinking here, okay, Scott's giving me $2 million. Only thing I can do is invest it, but you have to pay it back. Like, you will be super penalized if you don't. We're going to take other monies of yours, whatever it is, right? So just think there's going to be some big penalties, big problems if this $2 million doesn't get paid back, but you do have to invest it. Would you go and put all of that $2 million in one stock. And you're thinking, no, I'm not going to put all of my eggs in one basket, especially if there's going to be big penalties that could potentially go down. Why would I let it all ride on one thing? Well, that's what diversification is all about. We don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket, meaning one stock. We diversify amongst many different stocks. So you might be thinking, yeah, right, we're going to put it in different stocks. Well, maybe those different stocks or stock funds, right, are holding different companies. Maybe we've got some large cap companies, mid cap companies, small cap companies. Okay, well, now we're diversified, correct? Well, you could say so, but now if you think about it, you're all in equities. Is that what your plan needs? Well, it depends. Maybe you're nearing retirement or in retirement, so then your plan needs to be diversified a little bit further than that. Meaning maybe you don't just need just equities. You might need some fixed income too, or you might need other assets that are out there as well to help reduce the risk in your overall portfolio. So you can see how diversification is key. Being diversified helps you reduce the risk in your portfolio. We're going from having all of our eggs in one basket to having multiple companies that are all equities to saying, oh, wait, we're close to retirement. We're in retirement. Maybe we need to diversify some more and add bonds and bond funds and fixed income and other types of investments into our overall portfolio as well. So in each of those different steps, we're reducing risk, helping to reduce risk, helping to reduce risk, helping to reduce risk. So diversification's key to helping to reduce risk, but it's not the key to the retirement plan because, one of the things to help us understand diversification is we need to put together an income plan. We need to understand how much income you're going to need over the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years from your investments to understand how far down that path of diversification you need to go. How much of the safer, less volatile assets do you need in your plan versus the more riskier assets? Diversification is the key, but does it mean that that's going to reduce your taxes? No, not necessarily. You're going to need a tax plan in place as well. So hopefully for our first one here, as you hear somebody say, oh, diversification is the key, well, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the full key to your retirement plan and having everything in place and knowing how much money that you're going to take out. It is a key part or a key component of a retirement plan, but it doesn't make up everything. So that was the first half statement that I want you to be careful around. You hear somebody say diversification is the key. That's not going to necessarily wrap up everything that you need to know about retirement. Now, the second half statement that I wanted to cover today is that once you're retired or over the age of 65, Medicare is going to cover all of your health care needs. And I'm guessing if you're around that age, you might be thinking, well, I already knew that. But if you're approaching retirement, you might still be thinking, wait a second, I have heard people say that Medicare is going to cover what I need for healthcare needs. And well, Medicare is going to help cover what you might need for healthcare needs, but it's not going to cover all of your healthcare needs. And let me just explain a few parts, a few gaps that you might have when it comes to healthcare and retirement. So you're going to be very careful when you're hearing people talk about Medicare and covering all those needs. So Part A, hospital insurance. Part B is kind of the health insurance, the doctor insurance, we'll call it. But Part B of your Medicare has an co-insurance, 80% covered by Medicare, 20% covered by you. And guess what? That is uncapped. Uncapped, meaning it could go on and on and on and on and on, depending on what kind of bills that you have come in. Now, that's why a lot of people would look at filling that gap with a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan, but it doesn't just mean that Medicare covers all of your health insurance. Same thing for prescription drugs. Medicare doesn't cover your prescription drugs. Now, you can get a prescription drug plan to help cover those types of things, but that's not covered by Medicare. And some key ones actually in your retirement that a lot of people are going to need are vision. Maybe don't have glasses. I wear contacts, so that's going to be something important to me in retirement. My parents wear glasses. That's something that's important to them in their retirement. Dental, we're all going to need to continue to take care of our teeth. And then the last one that I see impacting more and more retirees, just based on maybe where they would have worked or what happened in their life earlier on, is hearing. What about hearing? So vision, dental, hearing, not covered by Medicare. Are you finding yourself or getting yourself into those types of plans to help supplement, to help you pay for some of those costs that you might incur through your retirement? So just because you hear Medicare covers healthcare needs, not necessarily the truth. And then the full truth. And the other really critical one that a lot of people want to ignore, but please, something that you really shouldn't ignore about your retirement, is what if you were to need long-term care support? I think we have to accept the reality that at some point in our life, we might need support. We might need support walking. We might need support going and cooking dinner. We might need support to just get to the bathroom. We might need support showering, bathing. There might be a lot of things that we might need support with in our future when we're in our 80s or 90s or whatever the age might be. It's just reality. We may not be able to do everything on our own at certain ages in our future. Now, a common misconception is that, well, Medicare will pay for that support. Let me clarify that Medicare does not pay for long-term care support and services. Now, there are some, I'll say, exceptions to the rule that if you were in the hospital and then you go straight into a nursing home, well, Medicare will pay some of the bill. And that is true, but again, kind of another half truth, because it's some of the bill. They're going to fully cover some days. They're going to cover part of the next so many days. And then day 100 on, you're then responsible for all of that bill. So they're only covering for up to 100 days, or partially covering to up to, actually, it's not even fully covering. They're partially covering to up to 100 days. So, and that's just if you go from the hospital to the nursing home. Now, let's just say you just needed support at home health care. Looking at some national averages, and these are just rough averages. Some of the things I see, home health care could cost upwards of, $50,000 to $60,000 a year. A nursing home, I've heard $90,000 to $110,000 a year, maybe more, maybe less in all of these cases. But you can see how costly these different items can be. And so you really need to take a look at your plan and say, okay, am I going to self-insure, or am I going to transfer some of the risk of what I might need in my future over to the insurance company so my assets, what I've saved up, aren't taking a huge hit if I have to pay these bills? So hopefully that just kind of gives you a good idea there that, Medicare is not all of your retirement health insurance. So be very aware of that. When you hear somebody talk about it, now you know some of the gaps that you need to start filling when it comes to your retirement plan. All right, the third half statement, half truth, whatever we want to call it, is I'm just going to call this one a half statement because I do like what it says, but it's not giving everybody the full picture of what they need to do. So let's just say that you're saving for retirement. You're not yet retired. Have you heard? Make sure you contribute enough to get the company match. Make sure that you contribute enough to get the company match. You might be thinking, going, yeah, Scott, that's a great idea. Why wouldn't I want to contribute enough to get the free money from the company? And I agree. Why wouldn't you? But here's the issue. If you're just following that statement, I find sometimes that people are. And let's say a lot of times, so many companies are different, but I see a lot of company matches around 4%, 5%, 6%. Sometimes they go higher than that, but usually in kind of that, 0 to 7% kind of range. Well, the troubles with that is that might not actually be enough to get you what you need for your retirement. So that's why I kind of call that a half statement as well, is because if you're just contributing enough to get your company matched, let's say that's 4%, well, 4% might not be enough savings accumulated over time to get you the pot of money that you're going to need to be able to supplement and supply the income that you're going to need for your retirement. So then you might be thinking, well, wait a second, I've heard some general rules out there. I should save 10% of my income, or I should be saving 15% of my income. Again, good general rules, but rules of thumb aren't always the best practice either, because depending on when you're starting, that could or could not be a good rule. So if you're starting at age 21 and you're like, hey, I'm going to save 15% of my income all the way until age 65, you're probably putting yourself in a really good position. But let's just say you haven't saved, or you've saved very little, and now at age 55, you're like, oh, I'm going to start saving 15% of my income and I'm going to retire in 5 years, or I'm going to retire in 10 years. That might not be enough. It just might not be. So the biggest thing that you could do here is really put together a plan. Understand how much do you need to live. Calculate out what that's going to be in the future. This is what we do for our clients approaching retirement. How much are you going to need to live? Let's calculate that out for the future. What do we need to save to make sure that you're still on track to hit that goal? Now, some people, they've already been saving quite a bit each and every year, so it's not a big deal to them. Maybe they don't need to save anymore. Some people, if they haven't saved enough, or depending on how much they're going to need to live, maybe they need to max out their retirement savings. Maybe they need to do 20%. It depends. It's going to be different for everybody. You each have your own unique situation and scenario. So the half statement here, make sure you save enough to make sure to get your company match. Absolutely. We want to make sure that you're getting that company match. That's like free money being put into your retirement savings. But the half we're kind of missing out on here is that still might not be enough for your retirement. So making sure that you are saving on top of that as well to hit the goals, hit how much you're going to need in your bucket of money to be able to support the retirement paychecks that you're going to have to take out from it in the future. So there you have it. 3 half statements. Just like the best margarita in town might be a really good margarita, maybe there's still some other things out there that could compete or be better than that best margarita in town. Same thing here with retirement. The 3 half statements, hopefully you've found these helpful. While they are good pieces of information, it only covers part of the story, and maybe there's something more out there that you need to be thinking about and considering. So, hey, I hope that you found today's podcast to be of value and benefit. If so, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast player. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe there as well, as we're coming out with new videos each and every week on YouTube to be able to help you with your retirement, minimizing taxes on your IRAs and 401ks, and also helping you understand how to maximize Social Security. So thanks again for joining us, and have a great day.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Sierens Financial Management, Inc. Sierens Financial Group, Inc. is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management, LLC, AEWM, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Sierens Financial Management, Inc. are not subject to investment advisor requirements. AEWM and Sierens Financial Group, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as a sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences, including but not limited to, a need for additional tax withholding or estimated tax payments, the loss of certain tax deductions and credits, and higher taxes on Social Security benefits and higher Medicare premiums. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA. Sierens Financial Group, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Sierens Financial Group, Inc.